I'm doing an extra recording this week just because there was a topic that was on my mind it's generally gaming related, but it's focused on Star Wars Unlimited. So welcome back, everybody. I'm not quite sure at the time of the recording what I'm going to be using as the uh, the actual video itself. Probably more look outside or something like that. But I wanted to talk about the seriousness of fun. I was trying to think of a better phrase as I was in the shower, but I've spent a lot of time and put a lot of work into games. And that's just not on the competitive end, but like amateur game design and a variety of other things. And I try to observe a lot and understand, well, what makes things fun for people? And obviously, for different people, it's going to be different things, or it could be multiple things, or it could be the absence of certain things, whatever. Now, this could take the form of competitive, and I'm going to say versus casual, but really they're not opposed. It's just they are two different things. They can be opposed because sometimes one will negatively impact the other. And I mean that both ways. And I've talked before about how I feel casual often impedes competitive more than the other way around, but that's not part of this discussion. It could be just general formats questions. It could be the meta or lack thereof, tons of different things within games. And like I said, this is partially because as an amateur game designer, and then also just talking to people and going to my locals, going to tournaments, playing different games and trying to find out what makes things fun. Because and I've said this before, I get more complaints about people ready to give up the game when the game is quote unquote healthiest. So post Boba ban, most of set 3, to be honest. And even now, there's always doom and gloom. There's always people that, are constantly feeling bad. I've even been told that I am way too negative. And I don't intend it to be negative for the sake of negative. I'm being negative because I dislike something, so I am voicing it. And I try to phrase it as a actionable feedback, so to speak. And I think a lot of people need to do that in a lot of aspects with the game, but I don't like this thing, and if this happens, that would change it. Or these are the ways that I would like to see it change, as compared to just, well, I don't like it. Because that isn't something that you can do. And part of it is understanding why you do or do not like something. And again, that could come down to, I don't like this meta. Well, why don't you like this meta? Is it because your archetype, your favorite character, there's a specific interaction? What is it? And trying to find those boundaries, trying to find those instances where you can actually articulate that I don't like the set 4 JTL meta because I thought pilots would be more impactful. And I was looking forward to pilots. Or my favorite character is ass. And as a result, it's really sapping the fun of the game. Because when you're able to phrase it, and when I say actionable, of course, your individual complaint, if it was the same, quote unquote, as everybody else's, maybe FFG would do something, but it's probably going to be 3 years from now by the time it goes through all the design work. It's more about changing your personal outlook, changing what you have control of, like talking to people at your locals and say, hey, I think the meta sucks. Do you think the meta sucks? Yes, we all agree. All right. Maybe we now draft. Maybe we now do sealed. Maybe we do twin suns. Maybe we do something else, finding other ways to engage with the game. If you're hell-bent on being a competitor, there is an element of trying to find the fun even within something you may not like. So you don't like the format, let's say, as I've been in this position multiple times with this game already. But I do enjoy competing. So although it may suck grinding all of these games that you're not enjoying the actual process, there is something to look forward to. There is enjoyment to be gleaned from it. Now, all of this is, of course, couched in the idea that if you really hate things, you need to take a step back and decide, why am I putting myself through? Why am I spending money and time and energy doing something that I'm not enjoying? But that is why you need to define why you are not enjoying it. Is it because you're not having the success that you want, or all the other reasons I listed before, or whatever? And if these things are whatever, you can't fix the problem until you identify what the problem actually is. And I think a lot of people it's not that they are incapable, but that because this is a leisure activity, you do, and I know I do this to a degree, kind of check out from that level of effort. If you think about it, if you're doing your day-to-day job and a problem comes up and you haven't encountered that problem before, or it's been a while or whatever, and you need to work through the process of problem solving, it's defining all of the surrounding criteria around the problem, concretely defining the problem. This is like scientific method stuff, and then coming up with a potential solution and then testing it out, sort of thing. You need to be able to go from point A to point B and hit all the steps in between. And ultimately, when it comes to games or any leisure activity like this, it's the same thing. If you were fishing and you were unsuccessful at fishing, well, you could continue to do the same thing and then accept the level of results that you are getting, or lack thereof. Or you could figure out, well, what can I do differently? And that's what comes back to trying to succeed at this game or have more fun at this game, where it's just, if you are not comfortable, if you are not happy with what is happening right now with your interaction with the game, and if you are, great, continue to do that. If you're not, what is it that you're unhappy about? Clearly define that and then set goals. Somebody had approached me recently about trying to start a team locally, and my response was, the big thing is defining what is the purpose of the team. Are we trying to win worlds? Are we trying to win a sector or galactic? Are we trying to win PQs? Are you trying to win locals and showdowns and whatever? And that drives the level of involvement, the level of effort that is going to be required in order to accomplish those goals. Because clearly Galactics is going to be a much, much higher bar than winning your locals consistently. It's also going to drive what you will have to do or what you can, let fall by the wayside as far as what you commit to. And that goes beyond just the effort piece, but also, okay, you may like this character, you may love Star Wars, but at the end of the day, the cards are the cards and the format is the format. I am personally of the opinion, I've had this opinion for a long time, that there is a best deck in the format, and just because things change or we don't understand doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It means that we don't know. Or even if there's not a quote unquote true best deck, there is absolutely tiers of things. There are things that are better than other things. That's not to say that the worst things can't win. There's definitely play skill involved. It's a card game, so there's variance, and there's a number of other factors. But it comes back to the actionable, defined goals of what am I trying to do? Well, if I'm trying to win, it would behoove me to give myself the best chance to win. Therefore, I need to play the quote unquote best stuff. If your goal is different, I want to build the best Pre-Vizsla deck. I want to build the best Hunter deck. Then because the goals are different, the steps required to get there are going to be different. I mean, it sounds very silly to verbalize it, but at the end of the day, that's what has to happen. So I don't know. I just felt like kind of rambling about this. This applies to a lot of games, not just Star Wars Unlimited. And I think that it is very easy to fall in a trap of frustration leading to disappointment, leading to frustration, leading to disappointment, and so on. And sometimes it takes separating yourself from everything for a moment just to examine what's going on. But if anybody's curious, further thoughts on this, or if you have your own opinion, let me know. That's going to do it for this time. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.